Hi! Welcome to video 4 of 4 of the Growing Vegetables in Container Garden series. My name is Sally Cassady, and I am the Food Systems Specialist for New Mexico State University's Ideas for Cooking and Nutrition program. In this video, we are going to talk about caring for your growing vegetable garden that you planted in containers. And there really are two areas that need a little bit different care than our traditional in-ground garden, and those are water and fertilizer. We have to treat those a little bit differently when growing our vegetables in containers. So let's get started and talk about water first. So when you are growing a vegetable in a container, the soil is going to dry out faster than when you grow it in the ground. And that is simply just because it's more exposed, and often the containers may heat up and dry that soil out. So we may need to water more in a container than we would water that same vegetable in the ground. There's not really a specific time that I can tell you of how often to water, because it varies on where you live, how hot it is, and different things like that. So the big way to know if you need to water your plants is to do a soil test, and that is using this guy right here, your finger. So you're just going to put your finger about 2 inches down into the soil in the container. And if the soil feels really dry, then you need to water your plant. If it feels like a wrung out sponge, you're great. That is the soil condition we're looking for. When I start container gardening, I check the soil initially every day, and then once I kind of can tell how often I need to water, I just follow that. But you have to watch out for how hot it gets, or if it cools off, if it rains. So it's a good idea to check the water, that moisture in your containers often. And a good tip for growing vegetables in containers is to plant vegetables that have similar watering needs in the same pot. So for example, lettuce and spinach need the same amount of water. It's very similar, so you could put them in a container together. You could put potatoes and squash together in a container. You can also do tomatoes and marigolds and rosemary and thyme. And the last thing we want to think about when we are thinking about watering with our containers is to make sure that you put those containers, if possible, near a water source. That way you'll remember to water and your plants won't get stressed out because they get too dry and wilt. So just remember that one, okay? Okay, so let's move on to fertilizer. And same thing, similar to watering, unfortunately, we have to fertilize more often with our containers. The nutrients from the soil in a container tend to leach out of the bottom of the container more quickly than they would if they were in the ground. So we need to fertilize our containers every 2 weeks about, once you've established that plant and it's no longer a seedling. So I've got some examples here that I wanted to show you of great options for fertilizer for container gardening. So first one here is fish fertilizer. This is great. It's a little stinky the first day or two after you apply it, but I use it a lot. I really like it. It's a good value for what you pay for how much you get. The other great source is if you are going to forget to fertilize, if you're really busy, you just are absent-minded, or you don't want to deal with it. They have fertilizer sticks that you can get, these little spikes. So you put them in the soil next to your plants, and as you water, it breaks down and those nutrients go into the soil. So there's another great option. Another option I love are worm castings. That is worm poop. You can buy these at the store, or you can make your own worm bin at home. And we have the link to a video on how to make a worm bin in the description, so you can check that out. That's what I do personally. And you also can always just choose your favorite vegetable fertilizer from your local garden center. So just make sure that it's specific to vegetables, because there are some fertilizers out there that are for flowers or grass, things like that, and we want to make sure we're specifically getting a fertilizer for vegetables. That's it for this video. I hope that you've learned a lot in the past 4 videos, and as always, please include those comments, questions in the comment box below. And I wish you tremendous success in your gardens. And if you ever have questions or want to know more about gardening, please check out our website at ican.nmsu.edu. Thanks so much and happy gardening! Bye!